Hello and welcome to S24 Rundown. I'm Zainab Ibrahim and here's our news in brief. Now the news in details. To start with, the federal government of Nigeria has called on South African authorities to ensure the safety of Nigerians and other foreign nationals following the killing of two citizens amidst rising tension. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria condemned the attacks and urged South Africa to conduct a thorough investigation and bring those responsible to justice. The government also expressed concern over recurring violence against foreigners in major South African cities. Nigerians in the country have been advised to remain cautious as protests and arrests continue in some areas, with reports of looting and violence. Despite the situation, officials noted that both countries are engaged diplomatically to address the crisis and prevent further 2026 for its primary elections ahead of the 2027 general polls. The party said the primaries will cover all elected positions, including the presidency, governorship, National Assembly, and state houses of assembly. The date has also been formally communicated. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Ladipo Johnson, disclosed that the NNPP would adopt a consensus method for selecting candidates across its ward nationwide. Also, the federal government has announced plans to introduce a national textbook ranking system aimed at improving the quality and standardization of educational materials used in Nigerian schools. According to the Ministry of Education, the initiative will ensure that only textbooks that meet curriculum requirements and high academic standards are approved for use. The Nigeria Educational Research and Development Council will continue to approve textbook, but it will now be subjected to a structured ranking process carried out by expert committees across different subjects. Also, the federal government is set to meet with the leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities on Wednesday in a bid to resolve an ongoing pay dispute and avert a looming strike. The meeting follows tensions over a proposed 30% salary increase for non-academic staff in federal tertiary institutions, which has generated strong opposition from the unions. Still, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has commenced the rollout of a new injectable HIV prevention drug, lenacapavir, as part of effort to reduce new infections. The launch, which takes place at Asokoro District Hospital in Abuja, is being implemented by the FCT HIV/AIDS Viral Hepatitis and STIs Control Program in collaboration with relevant health agencies. The initiative introduces a long-acting pre-exposure prophylaxis option designed to strengthen Nigeria's HIV prevention strategy. Finally, on internationals, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has called on South Africa to urgently address rising xenophobic violence and intimidation against foreign nationals. In a statement, he expressed deep concern over recent incidents in parts of KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, strongly condemning acts of violence and incitement targeting migrants. He stressed that such behavior has no place in democratic society and urged authorities to uphold justice and protect vulnerable communities. Now, moving on to business news with Hadiza Galadima. Let's hold on for Hadiza.
Thank you, Zainab. Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 28, 2026. You are watching the S24 Rundown Business Update. I am Hadiza Galadima, and we are tracking the polls of the Nigerian economy from the collapse of a key industrial sector to a massive shift in Nigeria's aviation landscape. Also, we'll take a look at a major regulatory shift in Southeast Asia affecting global marketing structures. Here are your top stories. First, we start with Nigeria's industrial backbone facing a significant strain as experts reveal the country is losing approximately 674 billion naira annually to foreign paper producers. Following decades of neglect and the shuttering of domestic primary mills, the sector's contribution to the GDP has stagnated at just 0.14%. Analysts at the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise points to high energy costs and foreign exchange constraints as the primary killers of this once thriving industry. In a move set to save Nigeria millions in foreign exchange, a major private sector consortium has officially broken ground on the first maintenance, repair and overhaul facility in Abuja. Once completed, this facility will allow local airlines to service their aircraft domestically rather than sending them to Europe or Ethiopia. Industry analysts predict this could reduce operational costs for local carriers by as much as 25% by next year. And in corporate news, early first quarter of 2026 earnings reports are causing ripples on the exchange. Transcorp Power reported a 9% decline in profit for the first quarter, while First Holdco faced a sharp 10% dip following a missed regulatory filing. Despite the localized volatility, brokers are seeing increased bottom fishing by investors looking for long-term value in banking and industrial sectors. And on the global front, Vietnam has introduced Decree number 137/2026, a sweeping regulatory framework for multi-level marketing. The new law strictly prohibits the MLM model for services, pharmaceuticals, and digital products, limiting it only to physical goods. Foreign investors are now required to prove at least 3 years of successful operations abroad before obtaining a license, a move expected to reshape marketing strategies across Southeast Asian emerging markets. And taking a look at the Nigerian stock exchange floor, it was a mixed bag for investors today. On the top gainers list as of opening trades of April 28, 2026, Abbey Mortgage Bank led the pack up 9.26%, followed by Zenith closely at 8.91%, and Wema Bank rounded up the top three, gaining 8.80%, followed by MPF Microfinance Bank and WAPIC. It wasn't all green, however. The heavyweights took a hit today as Zenith Bank dropped nearly 11%, while FBN Holdings and UBA both shed 10% respectively as the market corrected. So finally, if you are looking at safe haven asset, gold is seeing a slight retreat this morning as investors weigh central bank interest rate decisions. The international gold spot price is currently sitting at $4,670.89 per ounce, down with 0.2% from the previous $4,710 per ounce. So locally, that puts 24-karat gold at roughly $202,500 per gram. So that's the latest from the world of business. This afternoon, we will be right back after the break with more insight on our daily deep dive. Stay tuned for Zainab Ibrahim and Abubakar Turaki coming up next after the break. Have a productive day ahead.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much, Hadiza Galadima, for the business news. Up next is newspaper review, and I'll be doing this with Abubakar Turaki. Hello, Abubakar.
Hello, Zainab.
Good to see you again today.
Thank you, Zainab.
We'll be starting with the Guardian newspaper, and on its front page it says, APC risk internal crisis as governors hijack nomination forms. We were talking about APC probably will be having massive defection after their primary election, but it seems we've not even experienced the primary election and we're already having issues.
Then I remember in one of our discussions, I think last week we have predicted that there's going to be an internal crisis within the APC, especially with the way things are going. The party nomination, the form are out, and they have started selling the form for the aspirant. So this is to show you how powerful Nigerian governors are. Because if you remember, according to what Bolaji Abdullahi said in his book On a Platter of Gold, when he was the Minister of Sport during Goodluck Jonathan, he wrote that governors have a very vital role in Nigerian politics, because those governors are the one deciding who is going to be the president and even who is going to be the councillor at the bottom. And this is to tell you how powerful they are. For the past 4 to 5 presidents that we had here in Nigeria, most of them are former governors. Yeah. Most of them.
We were positive that the primary election would have been the best choice for the political party, as it would be more credible than going for concessions.
Yeah, this one, they are not even up to the primary level.
Yes.
This one is at the point of selling the form.
But if you are selling the form to a particular group of people and some are hoarding the form, it's no longer credible.
It's no longer credible. That is to tell you how powerful they are, because they have pocket everyone in their own pocket. They will be the one to decide who is going to get and who is going to be elected and who is going to be appointed and who is going to be withdrawn out of the party. So at the point of selling the form, now people are calling that the governors have manipulated the entire process, because they are the one who are bringing the candidate who is going to come and buy the form, who is going to have access to the form. And this is to tell you, even after they allow the candidate to obtain the form, after that, if they are being voted into office, definitely the governors will continue to engineer and continue to direct them on how they are going to play their own card.
So what does this say about APC ahead of 2027 election, moving away from the primary election? Let's move to the actual election. What does this say about them?
If care is not taken, ADC may likely take it on a platter of gold.
Why? Because of the hijacking of the nomination form?
Because of the hijacking. If many of the party members felt aggrieved, they may likely troop to the other political party, alternative political parties, to go and show their own interest there. And I have started since from the day one, and up to this material time, I have not been seeing any red line. As a politician or as someone that is aspiring to be in a position of power, I may likely defect to other political party. So definitely, if APC did not play their own card well.
So this is at the stage of selling. We never predicted any issue in accordance with selling of the nomination form. But you can never tell. This political game is so. It's not something you can totally predict. So we've not even gotten to the primary election, and we are already seeing some ups and downs in the APC political party.
If APC, after APC primaries, which is going to take place in May, then I've write it down. We come here and analyze the kind of internal conflict that is going to take place in the APC. The internal conflict must have gotten to this selling and hijacking of form, actually. Let's move on to the next page, and this is our Daily Trust. Daily Trust front page. It says, who is their core member final word? This is a sad story about a young core member that was allegedly killed by the military. Yeah, this is to tell you, it's a sad story. A core member that studied, went through university, and he's now serving his own fatherland. He has only 1 month to pass out, and subsequently, day before yesterday, he answered the clarion call. I think it's something to lament about. But many Nigerians are of the view that why is it that killing of innocent people is becoming frequent now?
We would have said, you know, aligned this with the current insecurity in the nation. But I don't know where to put this, because if the people who are supposed to protect us are the ones actually, chasing after people's life, what does this say about our country? You know, and we go about complaining about how other countries are treating us.
Remember I think last 2 weeks, we discussed here about when one innocent young lady was killed in Maiduguri due to negligence from the military people. And yesterday or day before yesterday, a COP member was also killed. Recently, we have seen where the Nigerian Air Force strike onto innocent Nigerian at Jelly. And we have seen where innocent people were killed.
That was referred to as a mistake.
As a mistake. We have seen where innocent people were killed at Tudumbiri at Kaduna State. So the attack on innocent people is becoming quite alarming and rampant.
But, you know, there's a difference between being attacked by some unknown gunmen, some terrorists, or compared to being attacked by the people who are supposed to protect us. That is a different story entirely, which is very, very, because it's like exercising your power in the wrong dimension.
Of course, maybe if something like this happened in places like America, I think by now the world could have been in tension, because the civil society organization, the COP members, the parents, everyone will come and unite under what is currently going on so that they can seek justice to what happened. But I believe the authorities of NYSC are going to do something. Also, the Nigerian military are also going to do something, because it has not been yet verified. This thing is still under process of investigation, because I have seen police are actually on the case. They are trying to go deep and know exactly what is wrong. But I believe our security personnel need to do more, because losing a Nigerian is not something just to read and go. At least we need to have a way
of... You know, you've just mentioned that incidents like this have happened before. If justice were not served in the past incident, what makes you think this will be any different? Because if it's that serious by the federal government, they should have been taking action on it already.
Senab, you know, sometimes this country, many people are saying that, oh my God, what is wrong with Nigeria? When things that needed more attention, those that are saddled with that responsibility are not given the attention required to deal with that problem. Things that does not need much attention, they are the one giving much attention. Now, in a country where the citizens are always kidnapped day by day, and the country is facing toward 2027. If I may ask you, where do you need to put more emphasis?
Yeah, the emphasis is ahead of the 2027 election.
Which is, many people call it as a misplacement of priority.
But to them, it's not a misplaced priority. It is their own priority, how to go back to position.
And of course, in many of our discussion, I told you, and many Nigerians are of the view that we have to vote for credible candidates.
And I've always mentioned that it is people who have voted in the past must have thought they voted for the right candidate. But you mentioned that every citizen in their sensible mind or state of mind should be able to differentiate a right candidate from a wrong candidate.
If I may ask you, was Rome built in a day?
It wasn't, but we've been in this democracy for a long time.
How just 25 years, 1999?
25 years is not just. We shouldn't. We are not supposed. With American democracy. I'm not saying that we should be at the perfect stage, but at least we should be developing, not transgressing, not moving backward like we just started.
Zainab, I think when you step out of this country, you will begin to appreciate the little progress Nigeria is heading towards, because in a country where our economy was floundered by the Western people that came to colonize us and left. What do you expect?
You know, Abubakar, I would not call it a progress if our progress are the few progress we have are now being abolished. We can't see those progress we've even had in the past. You understand? So if we are static, it's different. But if we're moving backward, that is worse. That is no progress.
Well, according to Walter Rodney, he actually outlined development into many stages. What you see as progress or development is not progress and development to me. So maybe the way you are thinking, the way this country is progressing is definitely from other people are thinking the way the country is progressing. But I so much believe that the comparison between Nigeria of today and Nigeria of yesterday, I think Nigeria of today is progressing.
But so, if you're calling this progress, Abubakar, we are just talking about the life of a citizen.
Innocent.
Yes, and it's not just any citizen. This is like a core member. The responsibility of this core member is on the federal government. Their care is on the federal government. Their high protection is on the federal government. But we've not had any investigation or what military person.
No, Zainab,
we've not heard that any of this military person has been called out to say that why did this happen and what kind of action, offense must have the core member done to have warrant killing.
Yeah, based on the report I saw, they said that it was a mistake. They follow someone that...
It's always a mistake. It's always boiled down to a mistake.
Zainab, in a democratic country like Nigeria, you cannot just come and kill an innocent person just to say that it's intentional. So they always have a way of backing their own fault. Maybe they may likely have a kind of a fair judgment.
So when they mention that it is a mistake, we are just going to accept that it is a mistake and there will be no thorough investigation.
At least we should allow the police to do their work, then let them just table it to the judiciary so that they can also do their own work.
Okay. I hope this issue gets justified and the parents of the child get the justice they deserve. With this, we'll be closing the curtain on newspaper review and moving on to our next segment, which is S24 Reports, coming to you after the break. Stakeholders at an event organized to promote mentorship, policy and support for girls in the tech and artificial intelligence usage have emphasized that developmental policies drive girls' participation and inclusivity in technology. Organized by Space Age Technology Innovation Hub, the event brought together industry leaders to advance conversations around girls' inclusion in science and technology. The convener, Aisha Bashiru Tukur, disclosed that the initiative is designed not just to educate, but to inspire long-term interest in STEM fields through real-life engagement.
Medicine is one of the courses that is STEM-based that you hardly find women. Now, when you look at technology, whether we like it or not, technology has come to stay. It has to stay, and we are living technology right now. How do we bridge the gap? We start by encouraging those girls as early age to be exposed to what technology is and what solutions can be found using technology to solve problems. There are YouTube channels of girls creatives around the world. Let them watch it. They don't have to have the best iPad, the best laptop, the best technology to get started. Show them this is what is possible. This is what girls around the world are doing, and you can do it. When we make awareness the basic and the first step, the next is how do we support them? And we can only support them when we tell them what is possible.
Several speakers and participants at the event also stressed that mentorship must begin at home, noting that parents play a critical role in nurturing confidence, encouraging curiosity, and supporting girls to pursue careers in science and technology.
So women need to work on themselves first. They need to know themselves. They need to have a career. They need to be up and doing so that their children will learn from them. Because whether women like it or not, your kids are learning from you, especially the girls. They see what you're doing and they become what they see you doing.
Mentees usually think their mentors are just there to tell you, to advise you, to just direct you. Or you can take your mentor as a personal advisor that you can discuss apart from work life or school life. You can discuss your personal life with, and they will direct you and put you in the right direction to achieve what you want to achieve or become a better person.
As a society, I'm talking based on Nigeria, we love copying trends, we love following along. There was this incident where this AI tool allows you to make yourself into a cartoon. And suddenly everybody is doing that. Everybody is giving AI free access to their images. So we're not thinking about the fact that whatever we put into AI is there. It's going to use it in whatever God knows how. So we have to teach people responsible use of AI as well as the ethics that goes with it.
There is no gender division when it comes to STEM. From me now, I'm from the scientific background. So I believe everyone can leverage the opportunity for the development of the country. So it depends on the angle and the positioning we are looking at it. So
even in terms of basic infrastructure like electricity, you find them with one solar that is being used to power their phones. So we have to leverage those systems because we can't reinvent the wheel. These are things that are already existing, but how do we leverage those systems to reform it so that we're able to uplift it, push it up to the level where we want, and also to do more of advocacy and awareness and then mentorship, putting the girls together, but not just the girls. And one of the issues also is the fact that our approach is not very sensitive. When we are targeting girls, we target them and leave the boys behind. We must take them along. We must take the fathers along, because until and unless the fathers key into the vision, key into the idea before the girls can be able to make it. So,
with strong collaboration between families, institutions, and policymakers, stakeholders say more girls can be empowered to shape Nigeria's digital future.
For decades, the debate on resource control in Nigeria has been largely framed around crude oil, revenue derivation, and fiscal federalism. However, this narrow focus the overlook of the vast deposit of solid mineral resources across Nigeria and the northern Nigeria in particular, ranging from gold, lithium, limestone, columbine, and gypsum. With the global shift toward energy transition, mineral resources, and industrial input, these resources present a potentially transformative economic pathway. This afternoon, I am joined by my guest, Jafar Aliyu, a renowned geologist, to help us understand what resource control means beyond oil. Jafar, welcome to Political Arena on S24 television.
Thank you, Mr. Traki. Thank you for having me.
So, Jafar, for a layman to understand, if we say resource control, what do we mean by resource control from your own geologist perspective?
So when we say resource control, it simply means the ability of a government to manage, regulate, and benefit from natural resources in a particular region. Like, let's say, the ability of government to have the full authority in the natural resources or solid minerals in a particular area, and for it to be able to harness and benefit from that resources. That is what is meant by resource control in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you for this wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
So, we all believe that in the northern Nigeria, there is vast mineral resources lying down on the northern Nigeria, untapped. Indeed. In your humble opinion, as a geologist, why do you think that most of the resources are there, untapped?
Okay. So currently, the solid mineral sector is currently facing 3 to 4 major problems.
What are
Number
they?
one is the issue of insecurity. Secondly, the issue of lack of inconsistent policy implementation, that is by the government. Thirdly, lack of management. So if you look at the insecurity, I find it funny, or will I say interesting, to see that any region that has enough of mineral resources in commercial deposits in any region of the country, particularly the north, you will see that the next day or in so days, you find the issues of insecurity, lakurawa, unknown gunmen. You know, it's so interesting. And secondly, if you look at the issue of lack of policy implementation, currently, even though the current administration is trying, but it can do better. Policies, a lot of foreign investors do not trust when it comes to policy. They lack trust in the
implementation of the policy?
Yeah, implementation of the policies by majority of the African leaders, or will I say the African countries, because you see that a policy is implemented today or is proposed after you have invested millions of dollars or even billions. In the next day or in less time, you'll see that that policy is being revoked or changed, which will indirectly affect your investment or disrupt what you have been building for months, and that will be a loss for as an investor or as a businessman.
Okay, you made mention of state controlling their own resources, especially from like in places like America. We have seen a situation whereby there is what we call fiscal federalism and feeding bottom federalism. So how can the state manage and control their natural resources? I believe, because according to some people, if states are managing their own resources and they are remitting some funds to the central government, is going to reduce the rate of insecurity in that particular region that is affecting. Because we have seen many places like Zamfara, like Borno, Maiduguri, there have been a kind of like insurgency that is taking place right now due to resource control. Do you think that leaving state to manage their own resources will reduce the issue of insecurity in that state?
Well, you know, every decision, or will I say policy, has its pros and cons. So in that case, I will support that the federal government should reduce decentralization and control of solid minerals, in which the states will also be given some sovereignty to
manage their own resources.
To manage their resources, to collect revenue and royalties, but also at the same time, the federal government should be responsible for general overseeing of those resources.
Like the federal government should serve as a supervision body?
Yeah. The federal government should serve as a controlling body or a central board, like in the economic sector, or like in financial sector, like the CBN of this in solid mineral sector.
Okay, the issue of illegal mining has been affecting the northern region. So how do you think we can cushion the effect of illegal mining in our area?
Well, in that case too, the recent administration really tried on paper. I don't know of the implementation. Yeah. So there is this thing they call the 7-point renewed hope agenda that was announced by the Honorable Minister for Solid Mineral, Mr. Dele Alaki. So part of those 7 agendas was the overseeing and tackling of illegal mining. They have tried, we have seen they implement a special squad department out of the NSCDC, which is charged with overseeing and regulating every security aspect on site and generally mining, in general mining, which are called the mining marshals. Yeah, the current administration tried on that. They are heavily armed, well-trained, and yeah, they are trying, but they can do better, even though we can see the still issues of illegal mining is still prevailing in the northern region.
Okay, so how can at least foreign investors help our local miners?
Okay, so foreign investors, you know, investors are businessmen. So, and no businessman will invest in a bad business. So number one, for the foreign investors to come in, they have to see that the government is doing something to tackle these major insecurity issues. Secondly, the government have to also improve with sustainable policy implementation, and also provision of
amenities?
Yeah, well, I say power, water source, good road access.
Basic amenities and the environment for businesses to thrive.
Yeah, exactly. So the government have to do that too. Then they will earn the trust of investors, definitely.
Okay, so it has come to our notice in the 19 northern states in the northern Nigeria, each state has its own mineral resources that is lying down in that particular state. So what are your calls to the governors, especially the governors of that state, in order to harness that mineral resources? Because there are several resources that are there untapped.
Yeah, as you said, a report was given out by the Nigerian Extractive and Industries Transparency Institute, which state that Nigeria, the solid mineral sector, is a sector that is worth over 700 billion US dollars. And it's so interesting to know that 70% of these resources deposits are located in the 19 northern states. And out of this 19 states, 40, we have about more than 40 highly in demand commercial solid minerals deposited in those states.
That are untapped.
That are untapped. So if these governments, if these governors can really look into this and invest to try their own best, I think it will really be a good investment, because it will lead to job creation.
Having more revenue.
Yeah, for them too, they will get more revenue, and it will lead to industrialization.
Okay, so you know the country is approaching 2027 elections.
Exactly.
So you're a young, agile geologist.
Thank you.
So what are your calls to your fellow Nigerians out there?
My call is number one, every vote matters. Make sure you get your PVC, and on the election day, go out and vote for your choice. Vote for what you believe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us on S24 television.
Thank you, Mr. Chucky.
So that is all what we have on Political Arena. Stay tuned for our S24 reports and S24 documentary. Thank you, and bye for now.
In West Africa, where the air is rich with the scent of cocoa, a quiet transformation is underway. For decades, Côte d'Ivoire has been the world's leading cocoa producer, supplying nearly half of the global market. Yet, for years, the finest chocolate was made far from where the beans were grown. Now, from the heart of Abidjan, master chocolatier Vivienne Kwame is changing that story, transforming raw cocoa into high-end chocolate right where it begins. At her workshop, precision meets artistry. Each piece, whether a delicate confection or a sculpted mark, reflects both tradition and innovation.
On est premier pays producteur de cacao depuis près de 40 ans, 78-79.
We have been the leading cocoa producer for nearly 40 years. Our production was intended for the international market. Today, we are the largest grinder, and the national policy is to aim for processing of more than 50% of what we produce. We account for 40% of global production, representing 40% of the world's cocoa supply. Today, we want to be able to process our cocoa in Côte d'Ivoire.
Et aujourd'hui, on veut pouvoir transformer ça en Côte d'Ivoire.
By keeping production local, Kwame is adding value to what Ivorians call brown gold, ensuring that more of the wealth stays within the country.
Depuis la plantation, jusqu'au produit fini. Pour moi, c'est un atout.
From the plantation to the finished product, for me, this is an advantage because most of those who work as chocolatiers in Europe do not have the chance to be born and live in the country that is the leading producer, nor the opportunity to own a plantation and directly impact production. So I believe that that is our added value.
Je pense que c'est ça notre valeur ajoutée.
Unlike many chocolatiers abroad, she is deeply connected to the source, owning plantations and shaping production from bean to bar. Her work has earned recognition not just for craftsmanship, but for leadership in female entrepreneurship.
J'aimerais pouvoir servir
I
de
would like
modèle
to be a
aux
role
plus
model
jeunes.
for the younger generation to help them understand that it is possible to achieve their dreams. You have to believe in it. It is not easy, but you have to believe. And when you do, you can succeed. So today, it is about continuing to work to be a role model and remain a role model.
For her team, Kwame is more than a boss. She is a mentor shaping futures.
My founder had a profound impact on me. Professionally, she taught me confidence and perseverance. She also instilled in me discipline, courage, and sense of excellence. Thanks to her, I have grown with greater confidence and progress.
Across the industry, change is taking root, opening doors for more women in cocoa and chocolate production. From handcrafted delicacies to bold cultural designs, a new chapter is unfolding, one where Ivorians are not just growers of cocoa, but creators of its finest expression.
Le travail se fait chaque jour par
The
l'État
work
de
is
Côte
being carried
d'Ivoire.
out every day by the state of Côte
Des
d'Ivoire.
lois sont prises dans ce sens pour que l'équité
I would even say that laws are being enacted to ensure that equity is promoted regarding the presence of women in our sectors. Mainly in the cocoa sector, they are certainly fewer in numbers, but they are still present. I believe that efforts have been made by women.
Elles sont présentes quand même. Je pense que des efforts sont faits par les femmes.
In transforming cocoa into chocolate, Vivian Kwame is doing more than building a business. She is redefining a nation's place in the global story of chocolates.
Hello and welcome to today's Tech Update, where we bring you the latest developments shaping the digital and technology world. Here are today's Tech Updates making the headlines. Nigeria is stepping up its digital future. The National University Commission has launched a new STEM and ICT transformation strategy aimed at upgrading digital education across universities. The goal? To boost innovation, strengthen research, and prepare students for a fast-growing tech-driven world. Now, beyond Nigeria's borders, across Africa, digital identity systems are gaining ground. A new continental report shows that biometric ID programs are improving faster than expected, with stronger implementation strategies across several countries. These programs is helping expand access to services and drive digital inclusion across the continent. And speaking of growth across Africa, the continent's tech ecosystem is aiming even higher. The upcoming Africa Technology Expo is targeting an impressive $890 million in tech partnership and deals, highlighting Africa's increasing influence in global innovation. Meanwhile, both locally and globally, Nigeria's National Information Technology Development Agency is developing new guidelines to ensure responsible use of artificial intelligence. At the same time, governments around the world are racing to keep up as AI continues to reshape industries and redefine how businesses operate. Back here in Nigeria, the federal government is pushing forward Project Bridge, a plan to connect police stations nationwide to fiber networks. This move is expected to improve communication systems and strengthen national security operations. And finally, cybersecurity experts have identified 20 vulnerabilities in various ICT products, including several high-risk threats. This discovery is raising fresh concerns about global digital safety and the urgent need for stronger, more proactive security systems. And that's the tech update for today. Stay informed, stay secure, and stay connected. Meanwhile, Khadija Mohammed is on standby with the entertainment updates after the break.
Hello and welcome back from the break, and this is your entertainment update, where the update is always hot, the vibes are louder, and if you blink you just might miss the tea. I'm Khadija Mohammed and I have got your fresh dose of everything buzzing in entertainment, lifestyle and culture today. From music videos crossing a stair to wedding budgets giving people sleepless nights and African fashion taking over global runways, today's stories are serving drama, glamour, and culture in one package. Stay with me to hear the full update. Starting with the Nigerian stars, Tenny and Olamide have dropped the official music video for their collaborative track Zion, released on Tenny's YouTube channel just days after the audio debut. The colorful visual features stylish mustard yellow scene, bold fashion statement, and even a playful bike moment with the veteran comic actor Osofia. Fans have praised the chemistry between both artists, with many calling it one of the strongest collaborations of the year so far. And moving on, the conversation, social media is buzzing after an event planner claimed that a decent wedding in Nigeria now starts from 80 million naira. According to her, quality vendors, premium decoration, venue costs, catering services, and flawless planning all come at a high price. While many Nigerians say this statement feels disconnected from the current economic reality, others argue she is simply speaking based on the luxury clients she works with. If you may ask me, I would say, cut your coat according to your size. Moving on, from weddings to the runway, African fashion is making bold moves internationally. 3 African fashion brands have been selected among 19 winners at the Berlin Fashion Week under the Berlin Contemporary category. Nigerians Fruche and Orange Culture, alongside Uganda's Buziga Hill, will each receive a €25,000 production grant for their runway presentation. This recognition highlights how African designers are gaining stronger visibility and respect on the global fashion stage. And finally, beyond fashion and entertainment, culture continues to tell the powerful story. Have you heard of the Amu people of Plateau State before? They are a small but vibrant ethnic group mostly found in Bassa local government area. They are known for their strong unity, and traditionally farmers are mostly from the Amu people. Agriculture remains a major part of their daily life and identity. They also place high value on education and community development, with elders and traditional leaders helping to preserve peace and cultural values. One of their most celebrated festivals is the Lirkimap, also known as the Amonda Festival. It is a colorful event filled with dance, music, blessing, and thanksgiving, where family reunites, a symbol of unity and pride in Plateau State. And that's a wrap-up on today's entertainment updates, where headlines are fresh, the update is real, and the culture always speaks loudest. Stay connected, stay entertained, and remember, if it's trending, we will bring it straight to you. I'm Khadija, and I will catch you in the next update. Coming up next is the sport news with Martha after the break.
Welcome back from that break. Today, let's take you around the club for the latest sport updates beyond Nigeria. We begin in the NBA, where Dallas Mavericks rookie Cooper Flagg has officially been named the 2025-2026 NBA Rookie of the Year. The 19-year-old became rookie in NBA history to average at least 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in a season, joining elite names like Michael Jordan and the rest. He won the award in a tight race, confirming his status as one of the league's brightest, biggest young talents. Moving to England, Manchester United has seen growing internal support for Michael Carrick to remain as manager. Reports indicate that several senior players have praised Carrick's influence, crediting him for improving team structure and results since taking charge. But the club has not made its final decision. The dressing room backing is believed to be strengthening his case for a permanent role at Old Trafford. In African football, attention now turns to a major legal battle. The Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS, has confirmed a hearing date for the dispute between Morocco and Senegal over the controversial AFCON final outcome. Both football federations are preparing legal arguments, with the case expected to determine the official outcome of one of the most disputed finals in recent African football history. And finally, in Germany, Nigerian striker Victor Boniface is back in the Werder Bremen sports squad after recovering from an injury. The forward returns after weeks on the sidelines and is expected to be gradually reintroduced as Bremen manage his fitness carefully. His comeback is a major boost as the club pushes through the final stages of the season. That will be all on Sports Updates. Up next is PG News after the break.
Good afternoon, my country people. Make I hold on hand, maybe touchline matter where they worry our country, reach the one where they worry people where they another country today. Nigeria government don't tell South Africa, say, may they protect Nigerians plus other foreigners where they their country. This one follow the news where Richards say they kill 2 Nigerians as their hatred for foreigners don't start again, which everybody call xenophobia. Nigeria says South Africa must find those killers, may they put them for jail. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs released one statement where Nigeria government used heavy mouth condemn the way they attack Nigerians for South Africa. Nigeria don't tell South Africa government say may they not just fold hand though, they must do proper investigation, may they catch all those people where they do evil acts, may they face the law. Government talks say Nigerians they really worry because this kind of violence not be the first time where it happen for South Africa be this. The government talks say they must protect people's life and their property by force. They say if this thing continue, it will spoil the friendship where they call diplomatic relationship where they between the 2 countries, and if it cause wahala for the whole African region. They contain Nigerians where they in South Africa say may they shine their eye, may they be very careful for some areas, protest and unrest still they happen. And people when they use this chance they thief, what they call looting. They call they cause more wahala join the one where they ground. Even with all this palaver, the government don't talk say both countries still they talk where they call diplomatic engagement to see how they go settle the crisis so that things no go worse past this one. Another story now about NNPP. The new Nigeria People's Party don't pick May 26, 2026 to do their primary election. They won't use that they choose who go run for president, governor, and senate for the 2027 big election. The party talk say them go use consensus, meaning say they go join mouth together, young 1 or 2, go agree to send one person go front. They say they no go do yes or no election to choose their candidates. Say they go join mouth together, choose one person. Federal government want try do better arrangements for our education matter. Federal government say that they bring national textbook ranking system from September 2026, meaning say they go they rank all school textbook. Only the books will get high grade. Now you go follow the correct school plan. Now they go allow students to use. If any book no pass this ranking, they go ban am. Even if they use the book before, they go tell the school may they drop the book, may the students know they use them again. University staff don't they give signals small say if federal government no do well with them, they go close school, go sit down for their house. Government don't arrange to meet with the oga them for SSANU and NASU, the non-teaching staff for universities, this Wednesday. The workers they vex because of the way government want take pay them. Government offer them 30% salary increase, but the union say it no reach and they no agree. If they no settle the matter, university workers don't talk say they go law school, go they sleep for their house. Government don't start to give one new injection where they call lenacapavir. Instead of make person they swallow tablet every day to prevent HIV. They say you go just take this one once for every 6 months. They say Nigeria gets 1.9 million people wey get HIV. So this new one go help make sure say the virus no spread again. And for people wey don't get them, it go reduce. For Obodo Ivo, UN big boss of United Nations, Antonio Guterres, don't tell South Africa say may they sharply stop the way they treat foreigners bad and the way people they pursue them. He say his heart caught when he hear wetin dey happen for places like KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, and he condemn all the fight and the bad talk where people they use provoke others to attack migrants. The UN oga remind South Africa say whether they don't forget history, say South Africa supposed to remember say na other African countries like Nigeria safe and the whole other world now then join hands together fight freedom for them during apartheid time. He can talk say this migrant don't really help build South Africa economy, so they not deserve this kind of treatment, even though things cost for the country. The man say they not supposed to use that one when they attack people.